Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 4th of July edition. I want to warn you that I will be competing with fireworks. So I am in the South and they take fireworks very serious, even though the ordinance in this town, you're supposed to stop at 10 p.m. Doesn't sound like they're stopping anytime soon. So I definitely wanted to give you that warning. I also want to say I don't plan on keeping you here for a extremely long time tonight because if you're off today, let's enjoy some of the holiday, even though even though we have our own reasons for celebrating or not this year. So anyway, what's up, everyone? I am Kim, aka Kim with the Gems, here on another mission to try to motivate, inspire more of us to stay ready so we don't have to get ready. Things are changing rapidly. As we know, something was signed today, as we talked about yesterday. Our expectations knew that it was going to happen, but it's official. It's official that bill is now part of our foreseeable future. And many of us don't even know what's in the bill. And so yesterday we touched base on what goes into effect immediately as it relates to the immigration and detention centers and the roundups and the budgets, which take effect immediately. So as of today, they are going to, with warp speed, start rounding more people up. And so, child, when I think about it, it becomes just even more depressing. But another area of real importance is the healthcare cuts and the federal funding that is going to be snatched away from a lot of these places that help to keep people alive and safe and well. And so if you stay tonight, what you will learn are exactly which areas are expected to be hit the hardest. You're also going to understand what that means as far as impact, and then what we as a community can start to do to prepare for that. Because again, not that we're going to completely stop the train. We can slow it down. We could minimize the impact, and we can just be prepared, right? Be prepared and know how to react when certain things happen, instead of not being prepared and things happening and catching us out there. And so let me just say hi to the family, and then we'll get into exactly what we need to do. Hey, Ebad. Oops, you're a little bit early. Hey, good morning. Hey, Ebad. Yeah, and I was a few minutes behind, but the fireworks are still doing their things. I was trying to, it was real loud a couple minutes ago. So, hey, Dante, welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, just one. Hola, hola, ¿cómo estás? Just one is also a recent resident. I don't remember if you're temporary or permanent, but resident of Mexico, received her residency in May. So congratulations. Oh, wait a minute. We got two May residentes de Mexico in the house. What's up, Lisa? How are you? Yeah, you have a lot to celebrate, child. You have two places to call home in 2025. And so you were about that action. You got it done. Congratulations on S. Kevin, what's up? Oh my gosh. Are you on the other side of the world? No, that's Tony Africa. Sorry. Kevin, where are you again? I forgot because you were making moves too. I just don't remember. It's been a minute. Hola, LJ, Ishel. I guess you guys are hanging out. So, yes, LJ is in Mexico now. I guess scouting. No, excuse me, she's in Colombia now, Bogota, Colombia now, with another one of the flawless maximize assets, grow abundance, 28-day accountability. They are about all of the action. So LJ is out here doing her thing too. Yes, Kevin, but you did something. Was it your passport? That's what it was. Something with your passport. You got your passport either renewed or updated. I just can't remember. 28 days ago. What happened 28 days ago? What did I miss? But yeah, anywho, I did want to come in and, like I said, not keep you guys here for a long time, but I did want to Cheryl, PhD, who's in San Miguel de Allende, de Allende. My friends who are from Puerto Rico, they pronounce the double L's like a J. Oh, 8 days before your departure. That's right. Wait a minute. That exactly. So where are you going? That was the question. Well, put it in the comments and I'll get back to it in a second. But again, oh, Cynthia's in the building too. The OG gemstones are up in here. And if you are not yet a gemstone or a part of the Gem Nation, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel. Listen, y'all, I think God is talking to me, and I may be taking on this challenge like I did a couple months ago. And I need y'all to really subscribe to the channel. I have a goal of, it's a loose goal. I just created it today, but I have a goal of building this community to at least 50 to 75,000 before the end of the year, because we're going to need each other. And I'm about to tell you why in a second. And so go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Listen, the like is free. It helps the algorithm get, share this with more people. It's necessary. So I thank you in advance for hitting the like button and also sharing this information with friends, with loved ones, with foes, whoever. Just share it, because sharing is caring, and we need all of the information our hearts can take or our minds can take. And so anyway, let's go ahead and start getting into one of the most crucial, if not for our community, the most crucial area of that bill. And it's actually how it's going to impact communities of color, depressed communities, meaning, lower income communities. And it is being touted as the most harmful piece of legislation ever written. The most harmful piece of legislation ever written. Let's sit with that. Like I said, we're going to quickly just summarize what's going on. Then we're going to talk about exactly which areas of healthcare are going to be hit the hardest. And then we're going to talk about solutions, because that's what we're about here. Not everybody is looking to move abroad, even though if you can at least get residency someplace where healthcare is at least viable. It doesn't have to be the best healthcare in the world, but if you need healthcare and you need to go someplace to get it, residency is the best way to kind of protect yourself. For now, we're talking today and now. The way this world is changing, who knows how that'll change, but it's better to have options, because options lead to our freedom. And so my first recommendation, and we haven't even gotten to the recommendations yet, or how we can soften the blow, like I said yesterday, is look up residencies in other countries. Mexico is by far the easiest of the ones that I'm aware of and have researched. And it's easy, not only the steps and the process, but the proximity to the US, right? So if that's of interest to you, start doing your homework and your research now. But let's get into who is going to be affected the hardest as it relates to our community. Number one, Let's start first and foremost with the elderly, right? With our seniors. I am so sad about what I know is going to happen to our senior community, right? It's hard enough for them to navigate all of the paperwork when it comes to healthcare, especially if they don't have someone hand-holding with them. But now, with all of the changes that I'm about to go over taking effect next year, it's going to be even worse. And then you couple that with the AI bots and the chat bots, and now you can't speak to anyone on the phone. We need to make sure we protect our seniors and our elderly community. But also affected are going to be a lot of rural residents, people who are not in big cities. People in big cities are going to be affected too, but people in rural parts of cities or the most rural parts of states are going to be the most impacted. They already announced, one hospital has already made an announcement somewhere out in the West Coast. Was it Nebraska? I can't recall. They're already telling the community, oh, we're going to be closing. Basically, Medicaid pays most of their bills. And so they're like, okay, yeah, we're going to be closing. So y'all got to figure it out. But in addition to the elderly and the rural residents, of course, low-income families, we are disproportionately affected by that. Immigrants, of course, are going to be affected, and not just Latin American and South American. We're talking Caribbean, we're talking Africa, we're talking a whole host of communities of brown and black people that will be impacted. And so this is, we are going backwards, y'all, right? This is not something that is going away anytime soon. This is not something that we could stick our head in the sand and just avoid. This is something that we're going to have to face head on and find solutions. And it shows just that how far we've come. The progress is at a halt right now, and especially for those who do not take it seriously and start to implement solutions. So again, low income families, our seniors, immigrants, rural residents, and people who have disabilities or chronic illnesses, including children, are going to be hit the hardest with this. This is not a game. And again, I don't want us to be here long, but I'm so passionate about this this topic, because just looking into the future, it's not going to be pretty, right? And we're going to start becoming either overly sensitized to the information or desensitized to the information. We need to properly plan. We need to properly put solutions in place so that we aren't so emotional when we start to see things and the news starts to cover things that may be a little jarring. So again, when it comes to our seniors, please help wherever you can. If you have elderly people in your family that may not have the support that is needed, be that support. Know that the scammers are going to come out. The scammers are going to see this as an opportunity to prey, especially on our elderly community. We need to at least educate them on what to look out for, what to not look out for, who to speak to, even if it means them not speaking to anyone until they have someone like you or someone that they can trust with them as part, in their presence. And yeah, let's just make a pact to do that. Again, if you are not following this channel already, please do so. I want you to understand that the commitment, like moving forward, has gotten even more serious for me to try to educate where I can and bring on people and experts who can help us generate solutions, because that song "We Gonna Be All Right" only applies if we put some action behind it. And community-based preparation is no longer a just in case or a luxury. It is necessary. It is mandatory. And if we do enough, coordination and come together in solidarity, then, maybe the words to that song will be accurate. We gonna be all right. I believe we gonna be all right because I'm putting action towards it. And so again, federal funding is being withheld, right? It's being withheld in education. It's being withheld in many areas. But tonight we're talking about health and wellness. And as I mentioned yesterday, most of the cuts are going to officially take place in December of 2026. Understand that the general elections are in November of 2026. And we'll talk more about that strategy in an upcoming video, but they are playing chess, y'all. They are not playing checkers. They are playing chess. And if you don't know the game of chess, it's all about strategy. Learn the game of chess. They are not playing. And I don't know if you guys heard, but just this is how convoluted things are right now. I don't know if you heard, like CBS just paid $16 million, I think it was, to that man because of the interview with the vice president last year that he didn't like. Meanwhile, there's a whole network that disparages every person that goes against their cult. And there's no real ramifications. This is absolutely insane. I also don't know if you guys know about the ramp up of the drone policing, right? Again, we'll talk about that more specifically in an upcoming video. But even here in South Carolina, they have all over the news about a city in South Carolina, Florence, who just literally, now Florence is not a major city, but they are majorly investing in drone operations to police their citizens. We're going to talk more about that. So again, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's going to be a lot of devastation as we look in the weeks, months, and years to come. And so let's just go over what some of those areas will look like that will be affected. And first and foremost, we've heard about Medicaid. And if you're putting any questions in the comment section, I will check that. I can't see the comments right now, but I'll check that in a couple minutes. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. If you have any solutions, go ahead and ask them. Like I said, we are going to be bringing in more experts. This has been put on my heart in every area that this bill addresses in order to provide solutions for our community. And if you're watching this, in the future, do me a favor, speed up the playback. Put this on 1.5 at minimum so you can get through all of this information in a timely way and then pass it on. So let's talk about Medicaid. What is the policy change for Medicaid, you may ask? Well, let's start with the money, honey. Over $1 trillion in cuts over the next 10 years. $1 trillion. $1 trillion. That's a lot of dough. Work requirements will be put in place for able-bodied adults, and it will be up to them to determine what able-bodied adults mean. We do know that Medicaid covers a lot of people with ailments or who have disabilities, so they'll decide how able-bodied you are, and that's going to be interesting, especially based on some of the new jobs that they are going to be trying to fill that may look a little Jim Crow-ish. And so that's going to be interesting. States will be allowed to charge co-pays. A lot of people on Medicaid I think most people on Medicaid don't pay co-pays. Everything is free. But based on the state, they will now be allowed to charge co-pays to people who are already financially drained, right? Oh, goodness. It will have huge impact on rural hospitals, clinics, and like I mentioned earlier, I will try to, if I remember, I'll try to look up the name of the hospital. But there's a hospital that announced, was it yesterday, that they've already told their community that we will be closing doors because of this bill. Um, and it's going to have such a harmful impact. How? One, the states are going to reduce coverage, services, and or eligibility. So the amount of coverage you may have gotten based on whatever illness you may have will be reduced. The amount of services that you were allowed to have under Medicaid will be reduced, and the eligibility requirements will be increased, right? And so a lot less people will qualify. Loss of coverage for people unable to verify that they in fact work. So for whatever reason you were unable to work up until next year, those reasons will probably go away in a lot of instances, and you're going to now have to prove you work. And if you don't, you're going to lose your coverage. Increased coverage lapses due to paperwork issues. So one of the things that I believe the bill says, and I don't remember the exact timing, but you're going to have to verify and re-verify more frequently. So instead of doing it maybe annually or whatever your state required, it may be every 6 months. And if you miss the deadline, you lose coverage. Financial barriers to basic care for low income people, longer wait lists for disability, elderly, and home care. Longer wait lists. Some of those wait lists, if you've ever known anybody who needed in-home care and they didn't have a family member to provide that service, if you wanted someone good, you could be on wait lists for months. And depending on how severe that their ailment is or how much need they have, it could be longer than that. So that's going to increase. Also, when it comes to, well, we'll get more about pregnant people in a minute, and as we talk about Planned Parenthood, but seniors, disabled, and women who are expecting, low-income women who are expecting to give birth, there will be severe reduced access as well. So how can we as a community, when it comes to Medicare, well, let's go to the Affordable Care Act, and then we'll get into the solutions. And actually, let me just see if anybody has any questions, and then we will get back to some more people jumped in. Hold on a second. Oh, wow. Let me see. Oh, did I miss this? I missed saying hi to somebody. I'm sorry. Miss Jones or Mr. Jones. I don't remember. I don't know how to pronounce that word. I don't want to butcher it. So 28 days before you leave, Kevin. Okay. And you're going to Cambodia. That's what it is. And then, oh, look. I'm coming back to you in a minute, Kevin. But Miss Cheryl, PhD, was here yesterday, and she was in San Miguel de Allende, and now she had gotten her visa, her temporary visa, and she has traded it in for her 1-year temporary resident card today. Congratulations. Now that's Independence Day stuff that we celebrate. That is independence that we tolerate. That is the new Independence Day, child. When you are about that action, whatever that action is, that's what we celebrate. That's what independence and freedom looks like, options. So yes, Kevin's independence and freedom looks like Cambodia with a 3-floor new villa ready and waiting. Praise the Lord above. Look at you. Creative Flavors also. Creative Flavors, you did something too. You got your, Lord Jesus, I'm so sorry. It's just been a day, child. It has been a day of luxury. I'm lounging and luxury. Got my PJs on and all of that. And I made the peach cobbler. So today has just been a day. My brain is, oh, they stopped doing the fireworks. Finally. Hey, Christine, welcome, girl. Good to see you. He told the farmers it's okay to own. So, yeah, we're going to talk more about immigration and that comment and what he said also about the homegrowns. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. But yeah, there's a lot being said, girl. There's a lot being said. So, they're setting up. They listen, they're playing chess and they're guising it under other things. And we just, as long as we are prepared, we are okay. And like Christine said, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, share. And try to listen, we need to build community. And like I said, this week, every day this week, I will be going live. Tomorrow is Saturday. I will be going live earlier. So I'm going to try to get the live done first thing in the morning, because it is a holiday weekend and I am trying to be sensitive to everybody. So look for me at like 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. I know, don't curse me out, y'all. Let's say 9:15. Let's say 9:15. Get in where you can, watch the replays, but I want to make sure every day, for at least for the next week, that I am able to come live. And we have a big storm coming this way too. It's not supposed to hit until after 5 tomorrow, I want to say, but I just want to make sure here the lights will go out, y'all. The Wi-Fi too. So we're going to do early tomorrow. And I'll come back to where I left off with you, Christine, in a second. So let's get back to the areas in health care that are affected. If you're just joining, yesterday we talked about how that BBB bill, I'll call it Break Black People's Back bill or Break Brown People's Back bill, is going to ramp up immigration and what that can look like. Today we are focusing on health care and how that is going to really have a hard effect on our community. It says basically this bill is likely to hit the hardest those already struggling: low-income families, the elderly, immigrants, rural residents, and people with disabilities. And the whole purpose of tonight is because the only way we can survive is through community, through knowledge sharing, right? Through expertise sharing and taking care of those in our community, the elderly, those who are less fortunate, those who are disabled. And that's what tonight is about. So we first started talking about Medicaid, also Affordable Care Act. There are many areas that will be affected when it comes to the ACA, Affordable Care Act. And now that includes narrowed eligibility for subsidies. Many immigrants, the policy change is that many immigrants and low-income families are going to lose those subsidies. When it comes to the Affordable Care Act, there will be a elimination of automatic re-enrollment and stricter verification. They're going to make it more challenging for you to prove that you need to be part of whatever the Affordable Care Act in your state is that you are part of, or your family members are part of. And again, whenever I'm saying you, please know I'm talking about you, your mama, your daddy, your sisters, and your cousins too. Like, I'm not just talking about you. So when you hear me say you, that's what I want you to think. Who can you help? If it does not directly impact you right now, but it will. Even if you ain't struggling, it will. If you are Black and or brown, it will. But I just want you to widen how you receive this so that you are looking out for the community. So the elimination of automatic re-enrollment with the Affordable Care Act and the expiring enhanced subsidies, right? So that was slated to end by the end of this year anyway. So those enhanced subsidies kept the premiums lower with the Affordable Care Act as compared to private insurance. Well, guess what? After 2025, those premiums will rise expeditiously, drastically, sharply, whatever word you want to use, they're going to rise. And then there will be coverage gaps for people. These are where the changes happen. I'm sorry, under the Affordable Care Act. So the changes are premiums will rise sharply. The coverage gaps will increase due to people missing their deadlines. That means you can go months without having coverage. God forbid. Many immigrants, like I said, and low income families will lose their subsidies and their financial aid to help them offset the costs or pay for the insurance. What does this mean as it relates to impact? Increased uninsured, increased uninsured individuals, especially among lawful immigrants who were taking, advantage of this, and people who make less money and can't afford private insurance. It's also going to impact us through enrollment because it's going to become harder for users who are vulnerable, right? For people who may not have Wi-Fi. Everything is done now like through a bot, an AI. It's not that you can go into an office like you used to be able to or pick up the phone. So enrollment is going to become more difficult for seniors, for people, like I said, with disabilities, hearing issues. The list goes on and on and on. And then the Affordable Care Act plans that were once affordable to many will now become unaffordable to many. So we covered Medicaid, we covered Affordable Care Act. A lot of y'all are sleeping on Medicare, which most of our, if we have seniors in our family, once they retire, that's the insurance that they are required to get unless you are wealthy. And again, you have some type of private care, but Medicare is also going to be impacted. How is it going to be impacted, you ask? Delayed Medicare Savings Program access, a bar on Medicare from some immigrants who are here lawfully, a projection of $490 billion in cuts between January of 2027 through 2034. And that number may rise. So we're talking $490 billion in cuts to Medicare. How are these doctors going to get paid? How are these doctors going to survive? What doctor is going to want to continue, especially if they have to? Listen, I've already heard, and some of you may be in the medical field, these doctors, the hoops they have to jump through to get payment from Medicare has already become so cumbersome that so many doctors have decided to either go into like a luxury upscale practice or completely leave the industry and do something else. And so those are just some of the ways that Medicare is going to be affected. What are the policy changes? Low income seniors will pay more out of pocket. Let us pray. Let us pray and let us execute. Exclusion of people who've paid into the system already. And this is when it comes to the immigrants, right? That's supposedly where the focus is. Future provider cuts and reduced service availability. And cuts to long-term care and nursing home support. Can you do me a favor? Put in the comment section if you know anyone now or ever known anyone who had to use Medicare for long-term care or nursing home support. Just put in the comment that you knew somebody. If you didn't put that in too, I just want to say, because I know way too many people that applies to, and way many more people that it will probably apply to. And so, let's quickly, and I'm going to see what you guys said. Let me see what you said. Hold on a second. This is absolutely beyond intense. You have for your mom. I have as well, Janet. Hey, Janet. Good to see you. Yeah, let me, hold on. I'm going to go backwards. So you've been a CNA and a CNA too. So you've seen it. You've seen just the need. Janet, you have for your mom. I did for my mom as well. Christine, bottom line, people are going to die. Amen. Hey, show about nothing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Question, any effect on medical through the VA? Oh, 100%. The VA is going to be devastated. And that was part of 2025, but did that project thing. But yes, but I didn't break that down as part of this, but this does, I don't think I did, but I will address that this week. But yes, it absolutely will. And so, hey, Casper, 330, holas, holas. Did eligibility for programs for 30 years. Oh, that's what you worked on? Oh, I think I remember that. At eBay, someone who is currently using long-term care. And I have been seeing people, everything from registered nurses to nurse practitioners saying, come get your peoples. If you can, come get your peoples out of here because of the cuts that are already happening, but are anticipated to get even greater. And if you can, and we know for a lot of people, that's not even fathomable to be able to bring home someone, especially if they're, depending on the type of need they have. And so it's about to get really intense. So let's just get through the rest of the list. Like I said, so we're going to be out of here. I promise you. Let me see what time it is before I make the promise. We're going to be out here by, let's just say within the hour, not within the hour, but within the next 15 to 20 minutes, which would mean an hour. So let's talk about, because we have to get through how community organization can help. Right. And so we just went through Medicare, harmful impacts, reduced affordability of care and prescriptions. That's the other thing too, child. And that's one of a part of the solutions, but prescriptions, listen, I'll give that little nugget now. We're going to get into it, but start stockpiling now. If you are on any type of medication, start finding ways to double up, triple up, quadruple up, if you can. So the reduced affordability of care and prescriptions, increased uninsured seniors, worsened aging outcomes. They want a younger population, y'all. Child, if you could get a residency someplace where they honor and appreciate their seniors, that is another gem for you, because most countries outside of here honor and appreciate their senior community. And so imagine being in a country where they're okay with having our seniors lose their insurance and basically, like Christine said, watching them just DIE. Possible loss of benefits or increased premiums, and that's due to the budget cuts. And then it threatens care for poor and disabled seniors. Let's talk quickly about reproductive health, and then we'll go into solutions. And then we'll talk system-wide consequences as well. So reproductive health, we know they're defunding Planned Parenthood. They've been talking about that for 10 years now, right? So basically what that means based on this bill is that nearly 200 clinics may close. And I don't know the total number of clinics, but let's just do a quick Google search. I am curious to know um, how many Planned Parenthood clinics are there in the US? 580. This was 2023. In 2023, there were 580 Planned Parenthoods. I don't know if that number's gone up or gone down, but still, 200 of those, that let's just say one third. Let's just say one third of the Planned Parenthood clinics are expected to close. For women and even men, and even when it comes to just offering free prophylactics, right? Like keeping our community safer. These are the types of cuts that will be implemented. So, how is it harmful? It reduces access to STI testing, cancer screening, and contraception. Quickly, what does that mean system-wide? What are the consequences system-wide? Mass loss of coverage. Millions will be uninsured. Millions who are currently insured, millions who are currently insured will become uninsured. Rural and safety net providers stress. Listen, these doctors didn't go to medical school and spend all this money and all this stress to be stressing about how they're going to pay rent or pay their mortgage or put their kids through school. And that's what it's going to equal a lot of disgruntled doctors the care is already heavily weighted, right? These doctors and nurses and CNAs and techs are all being pushed to their limits because of the cuts that have already happened. It's going to get worse. And basically increase ER use. So people are going to be trying to run to ER, but they're going to delay their care. They're going to wait because they know once you get in that ambulance or once you get to ER, the price 10 times, right? 10 times if you would have been able to have access to your doctor or your clinic. There will be funding shortfalls and, of course, possible closures system-wide. And healthcare will remain expensive and get even more expensive, even with coverage. They're expecting ER departments to be bust through the windows, like people literally hanging on the walls for space because they're just overrun. Strains to the emergency system, worsening chronic conditions, decreased access in already underserved areas. And then let's talk about the debt. Households will face enormous debt due to all of these cuts. How can we come together and act? Well, first, let me see your comments, and then we'll get into solutions, which, yep, I should be able to get through. Yeah, we're good on time. So, there's a bigger budget for ICE than there is for the military. Not for the entire military, but yeah, for the Marines, there's a bigger budget, but I don't think it's bigger than the combined military. Kevin says, I do know and help. Oh, a senior with medic, but you're leaving. Are you taking her to Cambodia with you or him? And Advantage, which pays for it. Yeah, Part B Medicare, and with Medicaid gets a cash supplement. And then once you leave, it's going to be hopefully you'll be able to find someone who could step in, because I know for someone who used to have to help, my mom after she had gotten sick, reading through that big old thick old book, and then she had Part D and C or whatever. It was a lot. And so imagine not having someone to advocate for you. It's going to be insane. It's going to be sad. And legally you have to take them home or face neglect charges. You mean the seniors just won? Because if you can't provide for them when they get home, and then with the cuts with in-home care, where that's neglect. Like I'm not sure what that answer is for. Legally, you have to take your family member home or face neglect charges. In the future, I see families bonding together to survive. I pray. I just see too many people with their heads in the sand and have no idea. They are listening to media who is not telling the story the way it needs to be told, especially as it relates to us. And then they'll talk about it for a couple minutes and then they're on to something else sensational. There will be some bonding, 100%, but not. We got a long way to go before it becomes in the masses, the high numbers. Yeah, someone to work. You need someone to work. All this, hey Dante, all this to give billionaires another $1 million or another billion or two. It's obscene. It is beyond anything I could have ever thought this country would become. Now I knew this country was, but you're on a rocky foundation, you're on an ugly foundation. So, I was the fool. Hey, Amira. It is diabolical. I love the way you phrase that, but we're going to get into some solutions in a second. God forbid if another child, and it will. Yes, Cynthia, it's American greed. No, does that mean you're not taking them? You hate that you lost your grandmother this past March and your crush, but you're glad she's not here to have to deal with this, right? Your problem. So if the facility says, come get your mother, you're legally. Oh, no, I wasn't talking about the facility saying that. Okay, that's where the confusion is. I was talking about workers inside the facility, talking about how mistreated a lot of these people are inside the facility. And they're saying, please come get your family out of this BS because they are being mistreated. They are not being cared for properly. And so they were warning people to come get your family now because things are only going to get worse. There was this one RN, and he was talking about how literally they were having CNAs, nurses were having CNAs distribute medicine, never being trained on medicine or pharmaceuticals, giving the patients the wrong medicine. Like it just got deep. And there were multiple people who were saying that. So that was the disconnect. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if they tell you to come get them, you have to. They can take control if you don't, or they can try to. They are trying to use the legislature to expedite unblinking the elderly since didn't. On the nose. Exactly, Yvette. It's called fill out lows. 30 states make you responsible to take your family in, and you're financially responsible. Okay, we were all the fools. Yeah, believing that this was a different place. Okay, yeah, so you can't take them. They're trying to use yep. I know what you were saying. Yeah, I know exactly what you were saying. For the election. Yeah, so you got to be thankful, give thanks. And sometimes, listen, they know before we know. Right? They know before we know. And it's like, I'm done. Bye, y'all. Y'all will be all right, I hope. I'm worried because your mom is going through. Oh, this is Creative Flavors. When I think about this, this is exactly what I'm thinking about. Imagine all the people that are going to get diagnosed right before these changes go into effect and won't maybe not even be able to go through treatments. So I'm going to add at the end of this video, once it renders, there's a video that I did last year about places around the world that have the most affordable healthcare services. Read, watch, take a look, because we need to start planning. Again, everybody's not going to be able to go, nor may they want to. But for those who do and can, we need to have options. And so that's what tonight is about. So let's get into some solutions that we can look into as a community. And if you haven't already liked this video, go ahead. Again, my goal is to really ramp up this community because I knew it was needed through divine messaging. I just didn't realize how fast of a pace we were going to have to pick this up. So let's get into the solutions that I want us to cover before we say goodnight. And again, I will be back tomorrow morning. I'll post it after this. I'm going to say about 9:30, 9:15 or 9:30, but I'll post after this. So let's talk about how we as a community and family can curate solutions to some of these, I can't even call them problems, these devastations. Number one, if you are someone who has a talent, right, for caregiving, start talking to people. Start being a voice, either paid or free. That is totally up to you, right? You can do trainings, right? Someone in here, I think it was Creative Flavors, said she was a CNA 1 and 2. You can start teaching online courses, right? You can go in your neighborhood and teach community courses. Teach your family. We need to come together and share our experiences and our expertise in order to make sure that if push comes to shove and somebody does have to go get their family member from a long-term facility, they can at least have the basics on how to make sure this person doesn't get bed sores, or how to make sure that they're getting enough movement throughout the day, or how to properly clean, or whatever the specialty is. If you have a specialty, don't keep it to yourself. Share that wealth of knowledge. And it could be anything in the medical field. It could be anything in the healthcare field. And so that's number one. Number two, when it comes to the seniors, if you have any in your family or in your immediate network, that's where we start, right? We already talked about how much help they're going to need. Offer your services. Again, paid or free, that's totally up to you. Everybody is going to need to look out for themselves. And if payment is, if you could put together a valuable proposition and start to help people go through paperwork, which is cumbersome, offer your services to that family. When it comes to supporting the seniors, not supporting, being a support, like a social support for our seniors, offer those services. Because if a person is starting to feel isolated and they are lost and stuck and don't know what to do, and they don't have anyone to talk to about it, their health will be affected. And so if you can offer, I know there's an app called something Grandpa or something Papa or something like that. And it's a service where seniors can actually go or family members for seniors request people like CNAs or um, other healthcare providers to come sit on their free time, keep them company, watch them, take them to the movies, go shopping with them, things like that. These are more and more of the types of services that we're going to need, but only do it if you're committed. Like, I'm not just telling you to go out and do it, because it takes a person who has empathy to be able to do it at the level that it should be done. You can volunteer at different places for healthcare facilities that may need volunteers because of these cuts. And that volunteer can look different. You don't necessarily just have to be in the medical profession. You can go there, you can, read, you read documents. It can be across all different professions. So go ahead and look up some, local facilities that may need your help or assistance in volunteering, like what they said with reporting and paperwork. You can also, there's someone in the course we just did last week, and I can't really tell her idea, but basically documenting all of the medications that people are on, not just the elderly, but if there's someone in your family that is on extensive medication, go ahead, document those. Start being more involved with whatever the health needs are for that person. Because if something happens and these facilities close down, or your doctor just ups and leaves because they done had enough of enough, this is the type of information that we're going to need for our loved ones. If you can help take them to an appointment. Also, offer help finding local and free or low cost support and healthcare. So if you're in bigger cities, there's more options. If you're in a smaller city, you may not have as many, but please try to find the nearest facility outside of the one that they may already be accustomed to, and having that ready, like that information ready just in case. You can also start encouraging people to, there's certain tools, online tools, we'll get into that, or maybe I'll put together a document, because if you don't know what it is, but there's certain online tools that you can use to help keep everything together, all of this important information, but you can train people on that. You can help them manage that, but there's so many ways for us to be useful in community. We already talked about whatever your expertise is, sharing that in community. Also, if there's a senior center in and around your neighborhood, and you can be a resource and or an advocate to help. Those are so underfunded, and I'm sure the cuts are coming there as well, but you can help people, because a lot of those senior centers will offer free services. So let me give you an example. I am a notary as well. So I have my notary commission. The reason I got my notary commission was not really to make money off of it. During the panorama, the community that I was raised in, there were a lot of seniors that needed to get documents, rather it was a power of attorneys or wills for their children, and they needed to get those notarized. A lot of the banks were closed, meaning you could not come in. Like, there'd be a window that if you were a customer, you can utilize, but you couldn't come in to get documents notarized. A few of my childhood friends, either parents, needed this. And I was like, you know what? I've got nothing but time. Let me get my notary, right? I did that, and I was doing it for free for people. I don't go into nursing homes because I see a lot of funny business happening when it comes to family members trying to get, people, their family who's in the nursing home, their assets. So I opt not to do nursing homes, but I do service seniors by going to them and either offering them no cost or low cost services. So things like that, like if you have a license or anything that can help the seniors or disabled community out. This is how we stay ahead of the train wreck that is quickly approaching. Um, you can also help immigrants find different types of sliding scale clinics as well as legal advice. And so, like for someone who grew up in New York, I would say 75% of my friends are from, like, their parents, I should say. They're first generation or second generation immigrants from Caribbean islands. And so, the other thing, one of the most important things, and we started talking about it with the prescriptions, that preventative care, start doing it now. I don't mean 2026, I mean 2025. Start making sure you, along with everybody that you care about or want to help, get all of their doctor's appointments, get all of the preventative care appointments done now so that you're still under the pricing structure before those things change. And they will change before December 2026. People are going to start preparing and there's fiscal years. It's not because they said, oh, this is going to start 2026. They're going to start reevaluating their budgets quarterly and adjusting. And when I say they, I'm talking about the hospitals and clinics and healthcare facilities and all of that. Also, listen, are there co-housing opportunities for seniors in your family? There may be, Auntie Bertha over here and Auntie Sally over here and Uncle Joe over here. Can we all get them all together so they're not by themselves and that they have support and that it makes it easier for you to check on all three of them or their children? If they all have children, y'all could take turns. You and your cousins could take turns. So look into ways that maybe there could be co-living facilities. And also when it comes to caregiving, that would also be more affordable if you need to have caregivers come to the house. Let's see. You can also, there's so many things. I want to make sure I underscore that you help anyone in your family that is of a certain age, double up, triple up, quadruple up. Let's take double off the table. Triple up, quadruple up on their medications so that when these price increases go into effect, it won't affect them right away. Also, for those of us who know the magic of going abroad and getting medications that don't require prescriptions there, but require prescriptions here, listen, bring a couple extra so and suches back. As long as it's legal, check the laws for each country. Don't come to me saying you guys, what's that show? The border show where they get people smuggling stuff. So no, we don't want that. But in most places you can bring an acceptable amount of different types of medicine, diabetes medicine, different types of medicine. So start looking into that when you travel. And again, also looking at countries that, if necessary, and if you have a family member that has some type of chronic illness or severe ailments, what country has low costs if you need to take them there, right? There are different, there's very high tech, high quality healthcare in many other countries that we don't talk about. I also did a video on how the US actually ranks low at number 13th or 15th in the healthcare industry. So anyway, so those are just some of the solutions, but being a community tops it all. Find community, find online communities and in-person communities now so that you are planning, that you are getting your ducks in a row for all of these changes, which are going to be drastic. You could also create, like neighborhood coalitions where you meet up at least once a month and we all, you all come together and start talking about everything under this bill that could affect you, your community, and your family. Also start getting training in certain areas from, you at least need to know the basics, the of course, like the Heimlich maneuver, but also, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. But the standard, knowing how to help people when they're in distress, knowing where local oxygen tanks can be if somebody needs one. Like these are the core things that we need in our arsenal. So when things get really bad, we're ahead of the game. And so let's look at the comments and see. Okay. I'm worried because your mom. Okay, I think I read that. Oh, I don't know. Tony was living in Kenya, so I think he's still there. I know he comes back to New York. That's his home sometime. I mean, that's where he was born. But sometimes you have to reach out to the family members of the senior disabled if you have been assisting them. I agree. I agree. A lot of times you may also need power of attorney to make certain decisions, right? So finding out who may need you that not only trust you, but you trust them and their family members to have their power of attorney. Do volunteer hours meet the requirement for Medicaid work hours? No, I don't think so. I think the whole goal is for you to make money to offset the needs for these subsidies. And so I doubt it. Let's just say no. Yes, a medical resume for chronic illness. Yep. And I think I saw somebody say something about getting a copy of all your medical records. Yes, you really should have that, especially as things are going to shut down, and you just never know what you will have access to. Your Greek organizations, churches, and other groups must start reviewing these laws and figuring out what they can do at scale. We can start these conversations in our networks, which makes me listen. I agree with you 100%. And we actually had this conversation, and there's supposedly some things happening at the very high level of these, I'll just call them secret societies. But they need to start talking. They really need to start talking, or it's going to be too late. We're talking, let's just say a year before we see this healthcare system flipped on its head. And I believe that they were talking at one point about they felt they were being infiltrated. It's a whole lot of, let me just reserve those comments to myself. But you're right. I agree with you. It needs to happen. And I mean, like now. Thank you, Christine. Yes, please like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate everyone for being here. And we're about to, didn't I make a promise, y'all? So we're about to log off. Ask for your medical records from hospitals and clinics, 100%. Hey, Darren Connolly, after all of the repercussions, the big chip bill will go down as the worst piece of legislation. Yeah, and it will take a lot of people with them. That's the sad part. Yes, getting trained as CPR. That I couldn't remember that phrase. Thank you, Christine. That's why you the moderator, girl. You were curious because if someone was interning for a job, they wouldn't even have coverage. If someone was interning for a job, they wouldn't. No, you're right. Healthcare is for people who are paying in, usually to a system. So right. But no, volunteering would not qualify under this new agenda. Your family fourth cookout was a huge discussion on strategy sessions. 4 told you that they're getting passports on Monday. And that's, I think, a great way to segue out tonight is that it's all about the communication and the conversation. Again, we know how to talk about just about everything everything else. We know how to talk about the gossip. We know how to talk about things that really don't bring about change, especially when it comes to our family. We know how to argue, we know how to fight. Let's get together, let's come together and start the conversation. Everybody's not going to be willing to have it, but at least try. And hit them with a shocker like, hey, so what you gonna do when your Medicaid gets cut off, girl? Or what you gonna do when your premiums go up to $1,000? I mean, you just have to like really like say something that maybe will jar them to listening, and then see what happens, because we have to have the conversations. And um there are so many topics under this bill that I want to address, but like I said, I want to do it case by case, piece by piece. I think tomorrow I will also reshare the list of places that have low cost medical. So it'll just be like the list, but then we'll also go into exactly what some of these new Jim Crow laws can look like, right? And so as we get prepared for what is inevitably going to happen, again, don't sink your head in the sand. Don't get depressed about it. Listen, it should energize you to be about that action. And so glad your neurologist scheduled your MRI 3 months ago and it's next week. Yeah. And that's, again, Cynthia, sharing gems, dropping gems. Let's get it done now. We got time. Just make sure that it's not just you. You take those that may not be aware. The people who may not know what's going on but need healthcare. Start making sure they're scheduling their appointments and their tests. And also the big thing, and we're going to have a whole separate conversation on this, let's start living, eating, let's start living right, eating right, becoming way more health conscious, because so many of these ailments that we suffer from as a community can be mitigated through lifestyle changes, right? And so we are going to need to come together as a community to learn what that looks like and how we can start implementing that to make change. Now I'm not saying every ailment, I'm just saying a lot of the ailments that can lead into bigger ailments can be mitigated, reversed, or completely eradicated if we make certain changes in our life. And so we'll, talk more about that. So that's a big area when it comes to health and wellness. But again, that's going to be a separate topic, and it's going to list like solutions. So if you have this can help you. You have that can help you. Again, with the disclaimer that there won't be a doctor here. There will be either me or experts who are in the homeopathic area. And get ready and get people ready to vote. They wouldn't have set the 2-year timeline in place if they thought there would not be elections. Yeah. Agree. We got time for that. So in the meantime, in between time, all these other things that we know are written ain't going nowhere. They're provisions, they're bills, whatever. Let's address those. And yes, think about, the elections and pray that they, won't be completely rigged. Your bougie family is acting like everything is business as usual. They are unbothered by all of this. It's disgusting. They're posting their fancy vacation, showing off their houses. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the majority of citizens. The head is in the sand, and I think they don't realize how bad it can be. And truth be told, the media is doing a great job at deflecting and distracting. And we're doing a great job of just being um, entertainment consumers. Like we just love some drama and some dramedy and the things, and they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. So it's not just your family, child. Be ready so you don't have to get ready. That's right. Who said that? Who said that? I know I wasn't the first one to say that. My mama used to say it too, but no, she wasn't the first one to say it. But yes, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that's what this next movement or these next few days are going to be about. Just breaking down some of the biggest changes that this bill is includes, right? Some of the biggest changes that will affect us. And again, it's the Break Black People's Back Bill, Break Brown People's Back Bill, is my name for it. But yeah, it's definitely designed to move us backward, to stop our progress. And then, when you talk about things like 4th of July and it's about the land of the free and the home of the brave, that's why the thumbnail says, yeah, we are, it says some exclusions may apply or some terms and conditions may apply. We are the terms and conditions, right? This is not the land of the home and the free. When you are trying to unalive our peoples, our senior citizens, when you are trying to unalive us, when you are trying to put us on a plane to nowhere, like this is not the land of the free and the home of the brave. But we can cry about it or we can do something about it, and I choose to do something. So figure out what you're going to do, and let's stay in community. You get no engagement when you post about what's going on over there. Yeah, just keep posting, child. My engagement, definitely. I don't even stress that because the people that are supposed to find me will find me. And even again, just seeing all of the changes that are already happening, even if you affect one or two people, Christine, just that's the thing we got to focus on. Everybody doing something will create the masses, right? Even if each person that does something, it's not mass, it's micro, it's fine. You're touching somebody, so keep at it and see where it ends up. And again, I know someone who, has been at Google for a very long time, and that's all I'll say about that because, hey, Google. Yeah, it's annoying. Hey, Carla D, you came in right as we leave it, girl. Good to see you. Hope to see you Tuesday. But I'll be back tomorrow too. I was just saying I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'm going to say around 9:15, 9:30, but I will post. I just have to look at, I think I told y'all I'm dealing with a contract. I don't remember what time I'm meeting him, so I just need to look to see if I can do 9:15. But definitely by 9:30. Yep, Christine, they're in for a rude awakening. Oh, you're so welcome. This is a critical conversation. And I'm only, because I stopped watching TV pretty much a long time ago, when I saw how it was skewing a certain way and how we're headed towards a completely different regime. And so now, as I do whatever research I do on the important topics, I feel obligated. I feel the need to share with my community. And I want y'all to pass it on. Each one teach one. And if y'all have something that you learned, please share it here. Please help us. Put it in the comments even after this is over. We need all the help we can get. Child, I have a college degree. And a lot of y'all saw my fancy life. That don't got nothing to do, but the past ain't got nothing to do with the future, child. Nothing. And listen, things could get really dark for people who are not paying attention. One of the stories that I heard about the raid or the detention, the ICE people detaining Haitian immigrants, they also picked up US born Black Americans, parents from New York. They picked them up too. So it's not as black as white as people, and black and white as people want to think it is. Your bougie fam is doing the same, but you can't take everyone with you, but there's people that you can that may not know what's going on. There's people you can take or at least influence, and even if they don't take action today, just like some people say, what my brother said to me the other day, because he was drinking soy milk a lot because, lactose intolerant. And I was like, soy milk may be worse. Stop drinking soy milk. And it was like, no, soy milk is better than blah, 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 blah. The other day he told me, he was like, I'm so glad you told me about soy milk. I didn't know what was making me sick. But it was you. Like, so he wouldn't listen to me when I first told him about it. But, in their own time. And so, yeah. So again, last thing, if you do have a Facebook account and you put a personal live, like if you have a live video from a wedding or a family member who's no longer here event, download it before tomorrow, or I think you may have until tomorrow, but all of the lives will be deleted from Facebook. So just the FYI. As Mel Robbins says, let them. You try, and that is most important. Yeah. No, it's not the land of the free or the hope. Nope. For some it is. Listen, if you're a rich hot man, then child, that is the best description ever. But everybody else, terms and conditions will apply. Oh, you're prepping for them. Oh, you're talking about the family members. Yes. Are we congratulating? Oh, with Cheryl for the residency card, the green card. When you mention passports, your family thinks vacations. Yeah, that's okay. Sometimes you got to lead a horse to water, right? Maybe you just need to take them to the daggone wherever your city you're able to apply for passports, and just take them and pay for their picture and pay for their application if you can, and if you care enough, right? I'm not telling you to do that for everybody, but sometimes you just have to step in and be the change that you want to see, right? And help the other people along the way, because you don't know what you don't know. Like, some people just don't know, and that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but it isn't. Oh, good. You'll be here Tuesday. Perfect. We do what we can do. That's it, Christine. Cheryl says, thank you. Then you started a channel and told your friends and family about getting their passports and visas, and no one has watched or acted on it. Listen, that has nothing to do with the people. That has more to do with the platform. And so you're going to have to just keep talking your talk. That's why I'm doing this every day, because look, how many, 36 people in here? I got 12,700 subscribers. Sure, a lot of people are not getting the messages, right? I'm sure a lot of this information is not reaching people for a reason. But that's not going to stop me. Shoot, 10 people in here, I'm still going to talk the talk. I'm still going to share whatever information I have that I think is valuable, so that we are not like deers in headlights. I'm still going to do it. Other people be like, oh, I got 12,000, nobody's here. Listen, I see too much movement, too many people being about that action. I could care less. I could care less what the platform is doing. You just don't know who you're going to affect or when you're going to affect them. It may be 6 months from now. It may be a year from now. Just keep at it. Just keep at it. Yes, child. Me too. No TV. Yep, exactly. Now I will watch me a little Netflix, a little Amazon Prime, and some YouTube. Lisa says we have to keep planting the seeds. That's right. That's right. That's all. You just never know when people are going to receive whatever it is, or when that seed, like Lisa said, is going to start to sprout. You just don't know. It's not in anyone, no one has a crystal ball, but I promise you, this is what I do know for sure. Somebody who has been doing marketing all my career, pretty much most of my career, since my 20s. Awareness will happen if you keep branding, if you keep telling your story. Awareness will happen. How many people? Who knows? Will the information go viral? It may, or it may not. And you never know when it will happen, but just keep at it, because this is too important for us not to keep at it. When you try to explain the danger and urgency, you feel like you're Chicken Little. The sky is falling. Except the sky is actually falling. You were funny that day. But exactly. Listen, I had another conversation with my brother. I'll share that for another time, because I said we were going to leave, but it was about him getting residency in another country. And child, and he loves Mexico. He used to travel to Mexico a lot. But yeah, so you know what? At the end of the day, just like the soy milk conversation, who knows? 5 months from now, something may happen where he's like, okay, what I gotta do? When I gotta do it? How I gotta do it? When we leave it? You just never know when that's gonna happen. So yes, Chicken Little. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. We will be back tomorrow morning, and then we will be back on Sunday in the afternoon. Because of the storm, I think I told you guys, there's a big storm that just came out of nowhere. The people that are here in Myrtle Beach are like, wait a minute, where the storm come from? It was supposed to be sunny all weekend. Now we got a big storm that's hitting tomorrow afternoon. So definitely we're going to be back Saturday and Sunday, daytime-ish, then back to the evenings the rest of the week. I know Tuesday will probably be our latest night. We're going to do that at 10, but I said I was going to post. So I am going to post our time schedule, and it'll be on the community tab. But for everyone who's tuned in, before you head out, go ahead, hit the like button right now, hit the like button. And again, if you've not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to chug along to a big community of 50,000 this way. I know, again, I don't care about the vanity numbers. I care about our community coming together and having a place to fellowship, a place to problem solve, and a place to vent, just in case that's all we need to do. So anyway, thank you, everyone. Good night. This may be a Noah's Ark moment in America. You never know, but let's not stress it. Let's just stay ready so we don't have to get ready. And on that note, I'll see everyone tomorrow morning or Sunday, depending on when you join. Take care. Until then, good night. And we gonna be all right. Yes, we are.